Hello, my name is Rituparna Ghosh and I welcome you to Golpo, my storytelling podcast where I share stories that have picked me. Yes, stories really choose me. These are stories that I love to perform, read out, and tell every now and then in my workshops and performances. Is this a podcast for children or adults? If you have a heart beating for stories, then this one is for you. So sit back and listen. Let the story choose you.
This week, I bring to you one of my most favorite characters from the world of oral literature. Have you heard of Mulla Nasruddin? There are thousands of stories about this man, told and retold by generations of people the world over. The Arabs, Afghans, Greeks, Iranians, and Turks claim him as their own. People called him Mulla Nasruddin or Nasruddin Hoja. Both titles mean teacher or preacher. But I think he was neither. He was an honest and extremely wise man who lived for the truth. It is his simplicity that people mistook as his foolishness. What I like about him is his unique way of looking at himself and the world around him. And in that is the story. This one is called The Uses of Wisdom. In our world, a wise man is much sought after. Even in those days, Nasruddin on good days could go around earning a decent living sharing his wisdom. And so on other days, he did all things sundry. On this one day, Nasruddin sat on a boat looking to ferry people across a river. Now, being a boatman was not the easiest thing to do, but it definitely made him fitter and stronger. When he started, he complained of aches in his arms and back. But now he was strong enough to row with the best and he could swim with the fish. Yet the job was not easy. Nasruddin often wondered about who should be paid more, those who did laborious work or those who used their wit. He hoped either one would provide for him, so he didn't have to do the other. But he also was grateful that he had something to fall back on in case the other did not give him enough money. Nasruddin sat on his boat looking up at the sky. There among the white, fluffy clouds was a dark grey one, coming closer, growing larger. The water in the river had begun to reflect its darkness. The waves were growing just a little bit quicker and larger. It was not a good day for a boatman. Nasruddin sat on his boat looking anxiously towards the shore, looking for a customer, but there was no one. Oh wait, there is someone walking towards the river. The man reached the water's edge and looked around for a boat. I'm coming, yelled Nasruddin, waving his hands to attract the customer's attention. I'll be there in a moment, he said. The man waved back at Nasruddin to show that he had seen him and he would wait. Nasruddin began to row swift and fast to reach his customer. Salam alaikum, Effendi, Nasruddin said, greeting the man. Let me help you into my boat. The man took Nasruddin's hand and climbed carefully onto the boat. Once seated, he wiped his hands on his clothes, cleaning it of whatever dirt he may have picked up from Nasruddin's hand. Please sit, said Nasruddin, ignoring the insult. The man sat down and looked at Nasruddin, and then he frowned. Nasruddin ignored him, avoiding an eye contact. He looked the other way and began to row. Excuse me, the man said. Are you the famous Mulla Nasruddin? I am Nasruddin, yes, said Mulla. But I'm not sure about being famous. The man continued to look at Nasruddin, but he ignored him, wondering who is this man and why is he looking at him in such a strange way. The man said, tell me, why do you think you're so famous? Do you know why people come to you? Nasruddin said, well, I have no idea. Well, let me say, is it because you have memorized the Quran and you're a Hafiz? Mullah said, Oh no, I'm afraid that's not the case. I am not a Hafiz. You are not? Said the man. Then, my friend, you have wasted a quarter of your life. Mullah shrugged and looked away towards the waves. They were growing larger and stronger. They had begun to rock the boat gently. Have you read all the great works of grammar? The man asked again. Mullah shook his head. I have not, he said. It was getting difficult to control the boat, so his answers had to be short. It was evident that the man was a scholar, but he was oblivious to the weather. He inhaled deeply. I grieve for you. You have wasted half your life, he said. Well, Nasruddin said, Well, we have to do what we have to do. If we were all learned scholars like you, how would the fields grow? Who would milk the cows? Who would row this boat? Each of us has a function, one duty, and we have to fulfill it to the best of our ability. We use our skills, we use whatever we know to make a living. You, your knowledge, me, my work. The man looked at him disdainfully. I don't imagine it takes much to learn to row one of these. Nasruddin said, Believe me, it's hard on these waves. You need a few skills, like to be able to predict the weather. Do you have any idea how the skies and the waters can change within moments? Ah, you're an astronomer then, said the man. Can you predict the weather? Nasruddin looked up at the sky. The rain had started to fall fast and furious from the dark clouds. The boat was rocking dangerously and the water was splashing onto it from both sides. No more anyway than any other man. Then, Mulla Nasruddin, the man declared, you have wasted 3/4 of your life. Mullah stood up on the boat and said, Can you swim? There was at least an inch of water in the boat now. The man shook his head and said, No, I cannot. In that case, cried Nasruddin, leaping from the boat, you have wasted all your life. The boat is sinking. And that's the end of the story. Now this one's for you. Think of all that you know, all the skills that you have learned, the various experiences that you have and will have in your life. Live through them, knowing that you would be wiser than just learning from books.
Thank you for listening. Golpo is a storytelling podcast with stories in English, Hindi, and Bangla. If you enjoyed the story and the podcast, drop me a line at contact@yourstorybag.com. Until next time, happy storytelling.